How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the 2019 Academy Awards, aka the Oscars. Now, I know some of y'all are just saying to yourself, ABL, why are we talking about this? Surely there are bigger fish to fry. We have the Mueller report coming out pretty soon. We have Amazon leaving New York. There are other pressing issues that are happening right now. Why talk about the Oscars today? Well, the reality is that the Oscars is very politically charged and it has a lot of eyeballs that are on it every year. Even last year during the all-time low in ratings, they still had 26.5 million people that watched. That's about 20% of those that voted for the leader of the free world in 2016. So a lot of eyes are on it. A lot of people feel like it's important. They look at the Oscars as some kind of a measure of success. So you got to talk about it. You can't really ignore it. Now, let's just start straight from the top, and I'll try to get through it the best as I can. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the very beginning and of the actual red carpet, and then I watched the beginning of the actual show. Let's go to the red carpet right quick. They look pretty good. The entertainers, the actors, or whatever. Charlize Theron looked fantastic. Angela Bassett and her husband looked fantastic. Obviously, Jennifer Lopez always looks great, and A-Rod was a great compliment to her. So I was pleased there. I was like, okay, you got some good outfits and whatnot. Everybody looks great. A lot of expensive clothes, designers, whatever. But there was one guy that I saw that stood out from the rest. There was one guy that I saw who was brought up even before I turned on my television. There was one guy that was the talk of the entire show, straight from the jump. And I'll place his picture on the screen before you. I don't know his name. I don't know his background. I don't know what he was in. And I really don't care. This guy was the talk of the show. I don't know what to call this actual outfit here. Dress tux, tux dress, a tress, a drux. Who knows what you call this? But this man has on a dress with a tuxedo jacket on top of that. Okay. So he was the talk of the town. Now, to anybody that's out there that understands what's happening, you know what's happening. And if you don't, this is an attack, in my opinion, on masculinity. You know, because you had this whole thing in Hollywood, LA, and liberal circles about, are you being too masculine? It's toxic masculinity. The Gillette commercial, Little Boys Wrestling, is somehow a bad thing. If you are a male and you want to talk to a female, then that's somehow a bad thing. You know, you catcalling if you just say hello to a young lady, all kind of stuff like that. So now, to compound on top of that, they say here's a man in the dress. Wear that. And that's acceptable. He's getting praise. He's getting applause. Now imagine kids that are watching this with their parents and they're seeing the kind of praise that this man is getting. And the parents got to try to convince the child that, no, this ain't right. But at the same time, if they want to kind of toe the line of political correctness, they can't say that this is not how men dress. Because now you got to have this genderless society. This dress was not okay. It wasn't. I'm sorry. And even if it was, why give it so much attention? Because in the LGBTQIA community, many of them, when they talk to me, they say, we're just like you. We're just normal people. You know, I know gay people, and the people that I know that are gay are not just trying to get so much attention. They're just trying to live their life like everybody else. This was just really out of bounds. Not a fan of it at all. But moving right along, this show had no host. Okay, remember this whole thing with Kevin Hart and the whole kerfuffle about the apology to the gay community, all kind of stuff like that. I'm glad Kevin Hart did not do this because A, he would have had to have been involved with the whole situation with the dress, the drugs. Well, he's worn a dress before too, but that's a different story. He had to be involved with the drugs, talking about how great it was, and then he had to be involved with all the anti-Trump, all the anti-border, all the pro-immigrant, all the pro-Mexico, all the pro-LGBTQIA, all the anti-white supremacy, all the anti-this, anti-that. He would have had to have been involved with all that kind of stuff. So rather than being involved with that, he can just stay making his movies, stay doing his comedy shows, and just get money. I want to see Kevin Hart do a heel turn. You know, that's a wrestling term if you don't know, where the good guy becomes the bad guy. I want to see him do that because this show was not for him. I'm glad he didn't do it. And he has opportunity now to just speak about how bad the show was with no host. Now, they did getting ratings bump, I heard, but I'm not really sure if it's so far beyond last year's all-time low. Okay? Not really sure about that. But moving right along, these award shows are really meaningless. I probably said that before, but they're really meaningless. Because at a certain point in time when I was a younger person, I thought that these award shows meant that the best movie was getting the award. It was, really giving you praise for your excellence and whatever you're doing. But a lot of it is political, not necessarily in the Capitol Hill kind of way, but political in that same way, just in Hollywood. Hollywood politics. You gotta scratch certain backs. People on the board gotta, call it. They gotta give favors to people. They gotta reward certain things because of the subject, not because of the actual movie or the piece or the performance itself. It's like with Spike Lee. He won an Oscar award for Black Klansman, and I posted a picture of him celebrating with Samuel Jackson from one of his earlier movies. What kind of man would do something like this? Again, you're rewarding anti-masculine behavior. This man got both of his feet up. I mean, I don't understand what's happening here in this particular picture, but he won an award for some kind of obscure category. Not really sure what it was. Sound design or something like that. I'm not really sure what it was. He did not win Best Picture. I think it went to the Green Book. I've never seen it before. I've never seen Black Klansman either, but he was upset that he didn't win for Best Picture. It's like, why would you win? And why do you care that you didn't win? Who cares? Why does it actually matter? Do you get any more money as a result of that? Do you get any more fame? Do you get any more attention? I don't understand what's the real deal here. Like I said, at one point, I thought it was something that really meant something, but now I know it doesn't mean anything. There was a whole campaign about Oscars So White. I covered that about 3 years ago, maybe a little bit less than that, where Jada Pinkett Smith and all kind of other people were saying, well, the Oscars have too many white people that are on the board or those actually win the awards. And, if they don't want to celebrate us as black people, we'll go somewhere else and celebrate that. I'm like, okay, what's really the point of making them honor more black people? Because really, it's all about their particular opinion when it comes to what movie is good and what movie is not as good in a particular category. So why try to influence them that way? Right after that whole thing happened, it was like they went into overdrive to try and compensate for it. They overcompensated. If you could just change it like that, then the award is meaningless. It's all about just trying to appeal to certain people, playing Hollywood politics. That's it. It has no meaning. Black Panther was up for an award. Now, I like Black Panther. It was a good movie, but was it a great movie? Absolutely not. No, it was not a great movie. It was good for a Marvel movie, superhero movie. You're not going to see it on the same level as a Titanic or some kind of classic movie like that. It's just not there. Actually, there are better movies that have come out related to comic book characters than Black Panther. I would say Spawn was a better movie than that, even on a much lower budget and longer ago with less CGI effects. I would say Logan was a good movie. Not being biased here because of my name, but Logan was a good movie. It was a Marvel movie, but it had a much more grounded kind of tone. Not so much of the CGI effects and, color splashing everywhere and big set pieces and dramatic music. It was more like No Country for Old Men, kind of a subdued kind of theme. And also the movie that Heath Ledger played Joker in. I forget which Batman that was called because he did so well. I know that as a Heath Ledger Joker Batman. That movie was fantastic. Now, he won an award for, I think, Best Supporting Actor, but that was after he died. So I'm not really sure if he won that award because he did a great job or because he died or if it was a combination of both. Can't really tell. Either way it goes, there were other movies that were better than Black Panther that did not get nominated for Best Picture. So why did that get nominated? Obviously because it's an all-black cast. And it just fits the whole narrative about being pro-people of color, pro-LGBT, pro-Mexico, and anti-Trump. The anti-Trump rhetoric throughout the whole situation was really bad. Spike Lee gave a little speech talking about the election is near, 2020 is upon us. We got to mobilize, do the right thing to plug an old movie. Trump responded in the tweet that I placed on the screen before you. People are saying, why are you so petty? Don't talk about stuff like that. Well, like I said, the Oscars It's a big stage. People watch it. I think probably like 28, 30 million people watch it this time. So you can't just ignore stuff like that. It's like AOC. People want to ignore her and say don't talk about her or whatever, but you can't ignore her because she's here. It's just like the left. They tried to ignore Trump until it was too late, and then Trump became the president. Then they tried to go into overtime and be like, okay, you got to stop him. We got to get him out of office. You got to talk about things that are happening right now, things that are relevant before they get out of control in the media as far as one narrative being spun. Put a different narrative out there and let that be in the media discussion as well, not just one side. So that is pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got. At the end of the day, really uneventful, no host. Just, the announcers and the presenters. You had some performances that were going on. I saw the first performance with the person that plays Freddie Mercury in a movie about him. And you had the Queen original band, if I'm not mistaken. They did fantastic at the very beginning. I saw Lady Gaga and Brad Cooper had a rendition of a song. I'm not really sure what that was. I only saw a clip of it in the commercial. So that's pretty much all I got. So what do you think? Did you watch the Oscars? I know you probably didn't, but if you did, let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, did you not watch it? Are you pretty much like me? You watched a little bit of it. How do you feel about the anti-Trump rhetoric and anti-Trump themes from the Spike Lees of the world, etc., who were just in pictures with him a few years ago? Not like in the 80s, but like in the 2010 on era. Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.